Hi, Kirk here with the BMW Motorrad Club of Northern Illinois. We're at the Salt Lake MOA rally, and I'm going to check out some of the vendors, show you some of the new products that are out, and just interview a few people as we go along. So let's take it down the road. That's what you need, a 10-foot long cord. I'm here with Peter from National Cycle, and we're going to just have him tell us a little bit about his products and what he's selling here today.
Yeah, hi, I'm Peter from National Cycle Ztechinik. We're just here, as we are every year, showing our new products for the GS right here, doing an install. This year we've got, as the side deflectors here, these are winglets, we call them. It gives a little bit more wind protection in the center of the cockpit. And it's kind of the last puzzle of the perfect wind management on a late model GS. You can kind of see a little bit closer if you want to take a look. Doing an install and including our stabilizer kit as well, which will give it quite a lot more stability on the highway, which a lot of guys who ride these bikes know there's a little bit of a weak point in the stock bracket on these.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. So what other bikes do you cover?
We cover pretty much every late model BMW there's out there. We miss a couple of models, a little bit rarer models, but we are committed to the BMW community, and we come here every year and have something new every year for every bike that comes out, essentially. Mm-hmm.
All right, and what is the plastic made out of that, what is this that?
Sure.
Is it any better than anything else? That kind of thing.
It is. This is going to be quantum hard-coated polycarbonate, or this is FMR, in fact, but a lot of ours are quantum as well. So it's a much more scratch-resistant and brake-resistant than a lot of the OEM windshields, with the exception of the touring windshields, which we actually make for BMW as original equipment. So it's actually thinner. It's 3 millimeters thick, but a lot stronger and carries a 3-year warranty against breakage.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thanks
Absolutely.
for showing us around,
Thank
man.
you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm here with Rocky from Bill Meyer Saddles, and he's going to introduce some of his products to us here.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's my day. I've got Brad Barker from Ride of My Life, and I've got the local television station have interviewed me. Now I've got the real important guys. I've got the BMW Club. Okay, here we go. Listen, we're 40 years doing this. It's pretty funny. I've got Corbin sitting next to me. They kind of make seats. Some of you might have heard of them. And I was asked by Deb Lahr if that's going to bother me, and I said, it's not going to bother me, but it's going to bother Corbin because they're going to see that I make a custom seat and he makes one that you press a button. Anyway, any bike, any butt is our motto. I'm trying to retire, so I'm only going to focus on rallies. So if you're getting a seat done here by us now, it's great. Look for us at other rallies in the future. We'll still be doing business on a day-to-day, but we're kind of cutting back a little. But the biggest thing that I like to say is, hey, the ride is always better if you got your little butt comfy.
That's for sure.
And that's what we're doing. So the boys behind us are here hard at it. And I don't know what else you want me to say.
That's good enough.
All right.
Glad you're out here.
Good.
Good seeing you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, Kirk.
So check this one out. There's an air conditioning unit right here on the bike. How about that? Gotta love it. Hey, so tell me about your camo kilt here you got going on.
It's a Utilikilt.
It's Utilikilt?
Yep. Yeah. It's not a regular kilt. It has pockets in it.
You don't feel like you're wearing a dress, do you?
No.
No.
Do you feel like I'm wearing a dress?
No, not really.
Okay.
But it looks pretty cool, though. We like it.
Yes, it's very cool.
Excellent.
In all kinds of ways.
Yeah, I bet it is. Oh, looks like a little, what are those coins
Challenge
called?
coin?
Yeah, challenge coin.
Exactly, yeah. There's only 7 in the world. He's got one, I've got one. And what color do you have? Black, yeah. So we're just kind of curious as to what the message is behind it. There's something that we're not being told, but they said we're supposed to give it to the right person.
If you don't have it, you have to buy a beer.
Is that what it is?
They look very nice, but I don't know what these are for yet.
Okay, well, we're trying to find out. Somebody knows. It's a secret, but we can't find out.
Secret.
Yeah.
So I'm here with Sean, and he's the owner of Motor Skivvies. He's going to show us a little bit about his products and what he's currently offering, some of his newer products, hopefully.
Yeah.
John?
So I was really, really hopeful that we'd have 2 new products. One I have here I can show you. Kurt was like one of the very first people to ever try our socks. Thank you very much.
I was.
So I've got a new product that we're working on. I was hoping we'd have it available at the MOA show. We will have, the one I don't have is a 3/4 length tight. So it's using our adventure platform. A lot of guys that are riding off-road enduro, especially in this hot weather, our traditional base layer short, there's an area of coverage that still gets a little bit of exposure to your clothing. The most requested item we have is a 3/4 length, a little bit different fabric, and it's a new technology in the adventure pad design. We will have that probably next week. They're literally on the truck as we speak. The other thing is a different shirt. It's similar to this. I've got one right here. We're going to call it the Traveler shirt. It is a very, very lightweight material.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
The thing that we have that makes it a little bit unique is I wear a lot of these shirts when I ride my motorcycle and I'm traveling, and I don't want something like, kind of techy at the end of the day. It has snaps, micro snaps as opposed to buttons. Every shirt I have with buttons, eventually I will lose a button. Okay? So you'll never lose a button on this shirt. The other thing is you can see my glasses, right? I use these, I'm taking them off, and every time I bend over, they fall out. And shirts like this with these normal pockets, I wanted to kind of get something that made it very easy to get in and out of, but was secure. So this,
it's
you
got a
can get
magnet.
in and out. Yeah, it's got a magnetic closure to it. So you can put stuff in and out of there. It automatically stays sealed. We've got a zipper pocket on this side, but we've got a magnetic closure on this. The other thing is, on a motorcycle, travel space is absolutely at a premium. This shirt comes packaged already in a little stuff sack.
Nice.
So it'll roll up, it'll go in this. When you're getting ready, throw it in your duffel bag, throw it in your pannier, you're ready to go.
Awesome.
So this one I thought we'd be able to pick them up today. We'll have them probably next week.
So on the Moto Skivvy shorts, has anything changed in the last 2 years?
Nothing
since they've been
dramatic
out?
in our base shorts. We call this, our comfort short. We still have the 3 designs: the sport, the adventure, and the cruiser. Again, in our performance type, we're taking our adventure pad and we're using a newer technology to use this same form. So in 2011, when we started this company, when we were doing the research, state-of-the-art in bicycle pad technology was multi-layer, multi-density foam. So you have several different layers of foam cut and shaped to achieve the right density and thickness. There's a new technology that came out of Italy in 2014. We're actually using it in our ladies pad, where they use 1 layer of foam. When they cure it, they actually put it into a negative pressure chamber. So think of shaving cream, a big cookie sheet of shaving cream, right? When they evacuate the atmosphere, it causes the internal pressure on that foam bubbles to explode. They bring it back into atmosphere and they cure it. So microscopically, all of the foam is broken. It makes it incredibly absorbent, very, very breathable, but yet it still has a very good sense of density to it. And then they shave that foam actually with a laser. So to get the different thicknesses where you want your pressure points, it's actually cut with a laser. That's the technology we're using in our new performance adventure type.
Nice.
We will see how that works, and it may be that technology is just, once we get out in the public and people are able to ride in it and we get some feedback on it, if it shows that is actually the next step in technology, we'll try to incorporate that into this baseline. But before we change everything that we've got right now, I want to get it out there in a new product and see how it's received.
Well, it's really cool that you're still innovating, still creating, and not just sitting and just selling the socks or the underwear, still continuing to make
Thanks,
new products,
man.
man.
Thanks.
It's nice to
Well,
see your
it's people like
company
you, our
growing.
constituency, and again, motoskis. Our bigger idea is we want to really become synonymous with base layers. There's a lot. Motorcycle is a very gear-intensive sport, right?
Sure,
From
yeah.
head to toe, everything you pick is usually very specific to that activity. And what we're really trying to do is redefine what do you put next to your skin to improve your riding comfort before you put on all of your other gear, regardless of what style of motorcycle you ride.
All right. Well, hey, thanks a lot for sharing that with us. And
No problem, Kurt.
Keep
Great
going.
to see you again, man.
Yeah, you too.
Ride safely.
Officer, hey. So what kind of trouble are you seeing here today?
Well, there's some video guys here that I was told to watch out for.
Yeah? Do you tase them on sight?
I don't have a taser.
Oh, you just got a gun. Oh,
Just a gun.
That's good enough.
Thanks, guys.
I'm here now with Misty Johnson from Dunlop Tires. No relation, by the way. Misty, tell us about your newest tire here, the Road Smart 3.
Well, our latest tire, as you said, is the Road Smart 3. We're very excited about it, especially for the BMW market. Done a lot of testing with this tire and got quite a bit of mileage out of it. As you can see on our chart here, we actually hired the Texas Tire Test Fleet to do mileage testing. So this is not our testing, this is independent testing. And they tested it against the Michelin Pilot 4 GT, which is a very popular tire within the BMW market. And you can see, especially the front tire, they got significant more mileage out of our Dunlop Road Smart 3 versus the Michelin Pilot 4 GT. About 4,000 more on the front, about 2,500 more on the rear. So we're really excited about the longevity that BMW owners can get in this tire.
Excellent. So the it's obviously the next generation of the Road Smart line. What is the key differences over the Road Smart 2? That and is it getting better mileage? Is it why did you change the Road Smart 2?
Well, the Road Smart 2 was a great tire. It got a lot of mileage, but we are always striving for better grip and better mileage. So we redesigned the tread. As you can see, we also did testing in Huntsville, Alabama, and we found we could get even better wet grip and better dry grip and better cornering out of it. We actually ran this test after there were already 3,000 miles on the tire, because another thing we find is that as the tires start to wear out, they lose a bit of performance. Well, we wanted to be able to maintain that performance throughout the life of the tire. So you can see we put 3,000 miles on the tires first, and our test riders, which do blind testing, by the way, got better wet grip, better dry grip, and also better cornering out of the Dunlop Road Smart 3 versus, again, the Michelin Pilot 4 GT. And we also ran that test again after 5,000 miles, got even better results.
Excellent. Well, yeah. Well, I'm currently running the Road Smart 3 on an LT, so it's a very heavy bike, and really love the front tire right now. I haven't got to the rear, but it's not properly weight rated, but I'll probably run it anyway since you guys make the size.
Well, what we're finding is that the tire is wearing less overall, so it is reacting as if it was new for much longer. So that's awesome. You get that good performance for much longer throughout the life of the tire, as well as getting the longevity. Hence the tagline, less wear, more wear.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Everybody, we've come upon, I think this is the elderly resting pod area. I think they're in their stasis cocoons. Shh, let's be quiet.
Or 422.10. That's with the discount, no shipping.
So when choosing a suspension shock spring combo, what are the important things to be looking for, or what is your?
Well, we start the conversation obviously with what's the year and model of the bike, because we need to know how the bike, and then we need to know how the bike's going to be used. For example, if you have if you're riding a GS and you're mostly a touring guy, then you can get by with a less expensive shock. But if you're I once had somebody say, I'm doing the Intercontinental Divide Tour, and then I'm going to Baja, and then I'm doing Death Valley, and I want your cheapest shock. Those don't go together.
Yeah, no.
So the first thing we do is determine how the shock's going to be used, what kind of loads are going to be put on it, that sort of thing. And then we select, what brand best suits that bike. That's why we have multiple brands. And then what type of shock, in that particular brand, whether it's an emulsion design or an internal dividing piston or a reservoir shock, etc.
And then how does like I see hanging on these here you've got both the progressive and the standard rate springs.
Yeah.
Where do you what are your feelings about that kind of thing?
Progressive versus a linear, they both have their place. Generally speaking, I prefer a linear spring because you can more fine-tune that spring to the individual situation. A spring rate is a spring rate. So if somebody needs a spring that has a certain initial rate that then becomes another rate, and those two rates suit that application, then a progressive spring can have its place. But there are other times where that progressive spring is a compromise, and maybe the person is too heavy for the initial rate of that spring and they blow right through it, or then they have a situation where they then coil bind the early part of the spring and they get into the later part of the spring and it's too stiff for them.
I see.
So it just kind of depends on what their needs are, because there's a spring rate for every load, and it just depends on what their needs are, and we make sure that matches it up. On some of the older bikes, like twin shock bikes and so on, you'll oftentimes see a narrower range progressive spring.
I see.
Something that starts at like 17 Newton meter, goes up to 25 Newton meter. It's not a really wide range, and it suits an old airhead, for example, very well. But when we get up into the larger shocks, generally speaking, in my experience and my preferences, I prefer the linear spring that's been properly selected for the load.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much.
My pleasure. Thanks for stopping by.